The fireplace was roaring, turkey aroma thick in the air, everyone smiling like the perfect family. Halfway through Thanksgiving dinner, I set my fork down, looked around the table, and asked casually, "Hey, did the hospital already mail the surgery appointment letter?" Dad laughed, carving more turkey. "Yeah, came last week, but we used that money for Cole's 27th birthday blowout. Kid only turns 27 once, right?" The table chuckled. I smiled back. "So, I guess you still don't know who actually needed that surgery." The room froze. Gravy stopped pouring. Smiles died. And in 3 seconds, Thanksgiving and my family ended. Stay with me. This is the story of how one quiet question exposed 10 years of theft and betrayal. If you've ever been the invisible one in your family, the fixer, the payer, the one who keeps everything running while everyone else celebrates, hit that like button if this already hurts in a familiar way. Subscribe if you want more stories that expose the ugly truth behind family love and deliver the kind of justice that feels earned. Let's go deeper into how I finally stopped being their ATM. My name is Elodie Ramsey. I'm 34 now, but for 10 years I was just reliable Elodie, the one who never said no, the one who quietly bled money and energy so everyone else could shine. Our house in Asheville was the postcard version of family life. Big wooden beams, mountain views through every window, the constant scent of pine and wood smoke. Every holiday, the table groaned under Valerie's perfect spreads. Golden turkey, cranberry sauce glistening like rubies, mashed potatoes whipped so light they almost floated. We'd all sit there in our nice clothes, fire crackling, pretending the love was as warm as the hearth. But love in our house was never equal. It flowed one way, toward Cole, and I was the pipeline. Cole was the golden child from the day he was born. Bright smile, easy charm, the kind of kid teachers loved and girls chased. Dad called him the future. Valerie called him our miracle. I called him my little brother and meant it. When he was 5, I made him grilled cheese at 2 a.m. when nightmares woke him. I rubbed his back until he fell asleep again. I thought that was what big sisters did. I didn't realize it was training. By the time Cole was in high school, the pattern was set. He'd crash a car, I'd pay the deductible. Tuition late, my credit card. New laptop for school, mine. I worked double shifts in a cubicle that always smelled faintly of burnt coffee and printer ink. I ate instant noodles at my desk so I could send him money for networking dinners. Every bonus check? Split. Half to my rent, half to whatever Cole needed next. I told myself it was temporary, that one day he'd stand on his own, that family meant sacrifice. But sacrifice only goes one direction for so long before it becomes exploitation. The real wound came 11 months before that Thanksgiving. Cole showed up at my apartment in Charlotte after a night out, face pale, joints swollen like balloons. He collapsed on my couch, hoodie still on, mumbling, "It's just a flare-up, Elle, I'm fine." He wasn't fine. I watched him sleep, chest rising unevenly, and something in me knew this was different. While he snored, I grabbed a home blood draw kit from my bathroom drawer, needles cold against my palm. 2 vials, drove them to the lab myself at dawn, street lights still on, my hands shaking on the wheel. 2 days later, Dr. Nolan Beckett, my ex, still the best rheumatologist I knew, called. His voice was low, careful. "Aggressive rheumatoid arthritis, Elodie. He's in the early window. Biologic infusions now, within 6 to 8 months, and we can likely halt permanent damage. Delay? Lifelong deformity. Opioids. Wheelchair by 35. My knees buckled. I sat on the kitchen floor, phone pressed to my ear, staring at the tile. Cole had no idea. If I told him, he'd spiral, drugs, denial, worse. If I told Dad, he'd say, "Boys are tough." If I told Valerie, she'd turn it into drama for social media sympathy. So I did what I'd always done. I fixed it quietly. I created a revocable living trust. Beneficiary, Cole Ramsey. Medical expenses only. Every overtime shift, every skipped vacation, every tax refund funneled in. $178,000. Duke University's upfront deposit for year 1 of infusions. Because I travel for work, I added one emergency clause. Either parent could request disbursement with a verbal confirmation and follow-up email from me. I thought it was protection. I never imagined they'd see it as an open wallet. While I was in Denver for a conference, Valerie called my private banker. Elodie's overseas, Cole's in crisis. She authorized me, then forwarded an email from a fake address that looked exactly like mine. The banker heard her crying on the line, saw the clause, released the full $178,000. Where did it go? Cole's 27th birthday blowout. Private mountain lodge outside Asheville, indie band flown in from Nashville, custom fireworks exploding over the Blue Ridge Mountains, 300 guests, influencers with ring lights, ice sculptures of his initials, open bar till sunrise. I watched his Instagram stories in my hotel room, crowd surfing, champagne popping, neon sign blazing, 27 and unstoppable. My stomach turned inside out. That money was supposed to save his joints. Instead, it paid for his ego trip. That morning, staring at my banking app, $178,000 gone, something inside me shut off. Not with anger, with finality. The constant guilt I'd carried for a decade, it evaporated. I was done being their safety net. Thanksgiving arrived like a ritual. I flew back to Asheville. The big wooden house smelled exactly like always. Pine, turkey, cinnamon candles. Everyone hugged like nothing had changed. We sat at the long oak table, fire roaring, plates piled high. Halfway through, I set my fork down. The clink was louder than it should have been. I smiled, small, calm. Hey, did the hospital already mail the surgery appointment letter? Dad chuckled, knife slicing more turkey. Oh yeah, came last week, but we used that money for Cole's 27th birthday blowout. Kid only turns 27 once, right? Valerie laughed into her wine glass. Cole smirked at his phone. The table kept eating, like he'd just said the mashed potatoes were good. I looked at them, one by one. So, I guess you still don't know who actually needed that surgery. Silence landed like a guillotine. Dad's knife stopped mid-cut. Valerie's gravy boat hovered. Cole's fork froze halfway to his mouth. The fire crackled, the only sound left. Dad's face drained of color first. What do you mean? I kept my voice even. The trust? The $178,000? It was for Cole's rheumatoid arthritis treatment. Biologics to stop permanent damage. Duke was ready to start infusions. Cole's eyes widened. His plate clattered. You're lying. I pulled out my phone, opened the lab report Nolan had emailed months ago, turned the screen toward him. Aggressive RA, early window closing, permanent joint destruction ahead. He stared, then looked at Dad, then Valerie. You spent it? Valerie stammered. We thought it was just extra savings. It was marked medical only, I said. Dad tried to recover. Cole needed to celebrate. Celebrate? Cole's voice cracked. He stood, chair scraping. My hands hurt every morning. I thought it was just aging. You knew? He looked at me, really looked, and for the first time in years, he saw me, not as the wallet, as his sister who'd been trying to save him. Valerie started crying, loud, theatrical. Dad reached for her. I stood up. I'm done. Walked out. No yelling, no tears, just the door closing behind me. The next morning, I sat on my childhood couch, same one I'd crashed on after long shifts, staring at the banking app. $178,000. Gone. 10 years of ramen, overtime, skipped dreams. Gone. 2 nights later, they pounded on my apartment door at 2 a.m. Dad, Valerie, Cole. Drunk, furious, reeking of regret and bourbon. Valerie hissed through the crack. You cut off his cards? Dad, BMW payment bounced, repo in 48 hours. Cole, voice small. Penthouse posted 10-day notice. Sis, just turn it back on. I looked at them through the peephole, faces I'd carried guilt for a decade, and I said one word. No. You'd think I'd fired a gun. Dad, you don't get to decide that. This family runs on what you provide. I opened the door just enough. I'm not an ATM with a pulse. Valerie leaned in, eyes blazing. You have 24 hours to reverse everything, or you'll see how far we'll go to protect this family. I smiled, cold, final. 24 hours starts now. Closed the door, locked it. And for the first time in 10 years, no guilt, just quiet. 3 days later, guardianship petition. They tried to declare me incompetent, unstable, financially reckless. Fake therapist statements, paid witnesses, a voluntary agreement to hand over control. Sign here, give us your freedom. I called Claire Donovan, my attorney. She didn't flinch. North Carolina law lets family petition if they show even slight incompetence. If the clerk buys 30%, you lose control before lunch. So we went to war. Subpoenas flew. Bank records, forensic email analysis. 3 witnesses cracked, admitted $500 each to lie. Then we brought in Dr. Nolan Beckett. April 28th, Buncombe County Courthouse. Rain hammered the roof like gunfire. Clerk Margaret Ellison presiding. Their lawyer opened. A tragic case of a daughter in crisis. Claire stood. A calculated attempt at financial theft through weaponized guardianship. Nolan took the stand, testified under oath. Aggressive RA, early treatment window, $178,000 medical trust, forged email, birthday invoices, fireworks receipt projected on the courtroom screen, neon 27 and unstoppable glowing in evidence. Gasps. Cole ripped out his earbuds. What are you talking about? Nolan looked straight at him. That party cost you the use of your joints. Valerie wouldn't meet anyone's eyes. Dad's head dropped. Clerk Ellison read the documents in silence for 8 long minutes. Then, this petition is frivolous, filed in bad faith and supported by coordinated perjury. Denied with prejudice. Attorney fees assessed against them. Full criminal referral. Gavel down, case closed. Cole's flare hit hard in June. By October, he needed a walker. Hydrocodone turned to fentanyl patches. At 28, he qualified for disability, $842 a month. His face in the photos I saw online, gaunt, eyes hollow. The unstoppable kid, gone. Dad and Valerie lost the house 3 months later. Legal fees, sanctions, foreclosure. U-Haul in the driveway, boxes in the rain. Gone. I never returned a call. Sold the Asheville house in 6 days, paid off student loans, moved to Charlotte, new job, new apartment, new phone number. Started going by my middle name, Marie. On the last day in Asheville, I walked through the empty wooden house one final time. Living room where Thanksgiving exploded. Kitchen where I made Cole grilled cheese at 5. I left the keys on the counter, closed the door, looked at the Blue Ridge Mountains one last time, and drove east. No triumph, no guilt, just finished. Courtroom silence after the gavel was deafening. Cole's face crumpled, shock turning to horror as he realized the fireworks he'd crowd-surfed under were paid for with the medicine that could have saved his hands. Valerie's perfect makeup streaked with tears she couldn't control. Dad's shoulders slumped like the weight of 10 years finally landed on him. They looked small, defeated, humiliated in front of the clerk, the deputies, the gallery. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I just exhaled, chest opening, years of pressure releasing like air from a tire. Relief hit in waves. No more guilt, no more invisible labor. Validation that my sacrifice had limits and they'd crossed them. Justice wasn't loud, it was final. The gavel said what I'd never been allowed to say: enough. Stories like this remind us love is not a blank check. Family is not a lifetime subscription you can't cancel. And when someone makes your emergency their identity, you lose yourself. If you're the one paying bills you didn't create, raising adults who refuse to grow, keeping lights on for people who'd watch yours go dark, you are allowed to stop. You are allowed to walk. You are allowed to choose yourself. The people who truly love you would never force that choice. If this story gave you chills or that deep exhale of finally, smash the like button and drop a comment. Have you ever had to stop being the family ATM? What was your breaking point? Or are you still carrying the load? We read every single one. Your stories matter. And subscribe for more Reddit revenge tales where the giver finally takes their life back. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.